So if you are like Diego and you think that Muhammad is mentioned in Isaiah 60, I'm going to show you in today's video why you should not believe this. Who is Diego, you may be wondering? Well, Diego was someone who decided to comment on my recently premiered video showing unless Muhammad was a Jewish man, there is no way Isaiah 42 could be talking about Muhammad. He turned around and said, Isaiah chapter 60 is corroborating evidence which shows us that Muhammad was this person mentioned in Isaiah. Now, the fact of the matter is this. He began to quote Isaiah 60. Why would he quote Isaiah 60, you may ask? Well, his comment says exactly why. He quotes, "The Gentiles shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising." And he references that the Gentiles are not the Jews, right? Ultimately, he believes that at the time ultimately strengthened his view. He continues, "All Kedar's flocks will be gathered to you, the rams of Nebaioth will serve you, they will be accepted as offerings on my altar, and I will adorn my glorious temple." So, like I mentioned in the Isaiah 42 video, I will not reteach that here. I'll leave it in the description box for you to consider watching after this video if you so choose, or if you want to refresh your memory on that. So he continues, ultimately with the next piece of insight, which I think is probably the most valuable piece of insight anyway. In his comment, he says he didn't see any Muslim say Isaiah 60 is about Muhammad. But apparently this Jew rabbi that he's either learned from or is engaging with has told him that this is about Muhammad. I ultimately think his response gives the answer away. He didn't stop to think, well, why have I not heard any other Muslim claim that this was about Muhammad? Maybe, do you think they knew that by claiming that this was Muhammad, it put them in a position where Muhammad turns out to be the nation of Israel, so he would actually ultimately therefore be an Israelite? But even worse, in this scenario, if you want to claim that this is talking about your Prophet Muhammad as a Muslim, just show them a few verses down, a few lines down, which basically says that God was so angry with this person, if you think it's Muhammad, that he basically struck him and basically tore him down. It reads, "And the sons of strangers shall build up their walls." That ultimately means that the walls were actually taken down before, right? Follow the logic. What does it say next? "And their kings shall minister unto thee." What does that mean? Well, the kings previously must have not been ministering, right? Continue to follow the logic. This is the kicker here. What does it say next? Which condemns their prophet as someone God was completely angry with and destroyed him ultimately, because it says this next: "For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee." So did you catch it? Right? If the walls are now going to be built, if the kings are now going to minister, and in wrath and anger the Lord smote whoever is talking about here, that ultimately means that Muhammad was actually destroyed, taken down, he was not ministered to, and then ultimately God was so angry with him, he struck him down, but now he's actually going to be favorable to him. You can see the clear dilemma in this scenario, can't you, for the Muslim? And if you read just different lines before and after the text, you can clearly see that Isaiah is writing about Israel as a nation. So, based on Diego's logic, God was angry with his prophet. God was smiting his prophet all the way down to destruction. And also, this particular prophet of his, who he claims was Muhammad, was also an Israelite, the nation of Israel. Simply ask a Muslim, is your prophet Jewish? They will say no. Is your prophet an Israelite? They will say no. Was your God so angry with Muhammad that he struck him down and destroyed him? They will say no. You can see the dilemma that Diego put himself in. After this, he kind of came back to some sort of semblance of reality. And what did he say? In response to the Isaiah 42 video, he said, "I have now read Isaiah 42, and the question was asked of him, where does it say in Isaiah that there would be a prophet going to the lands of Kedar or Selah?" After asking him this multiple times, what did he say? He turned around and said, "I've read Isaiah 42, and you are right, Israel." Talking about me, I was right. It does not say in Isaiah there would be a prophet going to the lands of Kedar or Selah. So again, Another false claim about Muhammad being in the Bible, and it's another strikeout. The fact of the matter is, you can search high and low, left and right, looking for Muhammad in the Bible, and what you will find is he is not there. Then he tried to jump to Deuteronomy, which, even in the bigger scheme of things, has no bearing on the scenario. Why? Because Deuteronomy does not change the fact that the servant in Isaiah is Jewish. So even if somehow you want to cling to Deuteronomy, at this point in time as I record this video, we do not have a Deuteronomy video debunking that false claim, but check below the video, and if it's there by now, ultimately you can watch that video of us debunking that as well, God willing. The fact of the matter is, this person clearly has hope. Why? Because he can hear what people are saying. Who was the prophet that would be going to Kedar or to Sela? But he can actually observe and respond coherently, even if it takes a bit more time, to the questions I'm posing to him. The Muslim apologist says, either through ignorance or through deception, that there would be a prophet going to the lands of Kedar and Sela, based on Isaiah 42. He now went to read it for himself and realized that Isaiah didn't say there would be a prophet going to Kedar and to Sela. So if you follow this logic, although it seemed like he tried to copy and paste just Kedar somewhere in Isaiah, the more and more he does this, the deeper and deeper hole he's actually going to get into. The point is, this is just another clear claim, a clear error on the Muslims' behalf. In this case, I assume it was literally down to ignorance. Now that I've actually been able to help him learn the error of his ways, ultimately I should not hear him talking about Isaiah 42, and please, not Isaiah 60 either. So if you liked what we talked about on today's video, you can consider being a monthly supporter of the channel or giving a one-off gift. Both of those links are in the description box below. That will help us continue to make content like this far more quickly. Also, at the same time, make sure you hit the like button and obviously subscribe to the channel so you can also get notifications every single time we produce videos like this. But you can also help other Christians realize how to dismantle false claims made by Muslims, in this example, on the Bible. You can watch the rest of the Muhammad in the Bible Debunked series right here, and you can find out how, by claiming the Song of Solomon, they claim that their prophet is actually a wine drinker, and by claiming the Gospel of John, saying he is the paraclete, as they like to say, he would actually be eternal. Two things many Muslims will never say if you ask them those questions directly. So check them out here, and I'll see you on the next one. See you soon.